Good morning, everyone. Our next session in the entrepreneurship track is the beginner's pitch. As an entrepreneur, there are many things you need to consider, right from the thought of what product you're going to work on, to the first initial things that you're going to take care, to the marketing of your product, to making the first few sales. So today we have a panel of 4 eminent speakers. Manjunath Talwar from Hiree.com, who is going to talk about how you would go about choosing your product. Followed by, we have Malati Lata from Fish and Cloud, who is going to talk about the first few things that you need to consider during the startup days. Followed by Lakshmi Anantamurthy from SIA, who would talk about how we would market your product going forward. Followed by Barbara Maim from Minch, who's going to talk about the tips and tricks about how we would make your first sales in that area. So without further ado, I pass on the mic to Manjunath to get started. Thank you.
Hey guys, good morning. How many of you looking to join startups or startup in the future? Almost everyone. Okay, so at least it's not a abused word. In 2006, 2005, till that kind of time frame, if you were to join startups, then you would probably think, okay, this guy didn't find a job in a good place. But now it's the other way. People look to join startups, be part of the journey. A lot of wave created in India. India is one of the biggest startup hubs, and Bangalore specifically within that, a bigger one, right? So clearly something that is attracting a lot of people to be part of the startups and be part of the startup journey. So I'm Manjunath, I'm founder of Hiree. We started our journey post my being in the industry for 15 years with Yahoo and i2 Technologies. And at Yahoo, I used to product manage a couple of properties in media side, Yahoo Autos, Weather, and after that, moved on to startup on my own, looking at problems that we were facing with hiring, and that's kind of when we got started. We started with a brand called MyNoticePeriod.com and rebranded ourselves to Hiree in May. So it's 2 brands that we built in the 1 year and a half that we've been in our journey as part of the entrepreneurship. So what I'm going to talk through is a set of things that would be relevant when you're starting up. And first of it is, what problem do you solve? Definitely a problem that you have a good understanding of, where you can add value in either using any means. Could be tech, could be non-tech, could be process, could be some efficiency that you're bringing in, but definitely something that you have a very good understanding of, and a depth in the solution that you're looking to build. And there are plenty of problems that you could look to solve, and some big, some small, but go after problems that are really widespread, can add a lot of value to people and enhance their experience and make it simpler for them, right? So it has to be a problem that you have good understanding of and can come up with good solution that will help. Having a domain understanding or the sense of having the same problem yourself is definitely going to be helpful. So when we started, we were hiring for our teams, both my co-founder and I, for hiring for our teams at Yahoo, at i2, and then hiring was a big pain for us because you had roadmaps which were 6 months long, and you needed to deliver in that time frame. But say if you were to build a team of 20 people, hiring 20 people in India basically means you need to have a search which is 1 to 3 months, and then 1 to 3 months of notice period. So you just cannot hire in the time that you have and cannot hence deliver on your product roadmap, which is very inefficient for businesses to even scale up, to deliver, and at the speed at which competitors are moving, you really need to be able to scale up fast. And that is why we decided to solve this problem. Despite all of the platforms, whether it's a LinkedIn, Naukri, Monster, Times Jobs, all of those platforms existing, there wasn't a way for us to hire at the velocity that we needed to be able to build the scale of the team, to be able to go into product. So while we were both not HR guys, not into recruitment, we definitely had struggled hiring for our teams and looked to build our own teams and deliver, which is why we decided to solve that as a problem. In terms of the solution approach, definitely need to validate at every stage. So what we did is we took up the idea itself, when we started, I want to hire people who can join quickly. So I want to go after people who are in notice period. We went this with a challenge to our recruiters saying, guys, can you get us people who are serving their notice period? Because I need somebody who can join in 10 days, 15 days, a month. I cannot wait for 5 months to hire. And all recruiters come back and say, no, I don't have a way. I have 10,000 guys on Naukri. I have 1 lakh people on LinkedIn. I just don't know who's even seriously available, who's looking out, right? So those were problems that they were just not able to solve, and clearly looked like a problem for us to go after. We validated that at the first stage within our own group. Then we went with a couple of recruiters and asked them, if you were to get, say, notice period hires, how would you react? Would it make sense? A product like this, if we build, will it make sense to you? Some of them were very excited. Yes, I would really love it. Some of them were like just the opposite, right? I mean, why would you hire somebody who's in notice period? It's unethical, it's challenging, and so on, right? So you would hear multiple views of people, but you'll have to go with your hunch, and majority is what you'd go with at that point, and you would have to believe in your problem solution very strongly, and only then go after that, right? So that was the validation that we did at that stage. And then beyond that, we basically wrote mocks on paper, got it designed through designers, built HTML prototypes of it. And with the HTML prototype, we went back to recruiters again, saying, this is what we're thinking. The product idea is something that we've talked about, but here is the deeper solution that we've built. Here is the links. Here are the specific pages that we're going to have. And would that work? So they had some views, thoughts. I, as a recruiter, don't do this piece. I use search more. I use that other thing more. So validate that at that stage as well. And then once we had our beta product built, we went out to the market again, and this time with a larger audience. Went with some amount of advertising, got a lot more customers, but then talked to each customer once they signed up with us to see if there is value in what we're doing, the approach is good, are there changes that need to be made, and hence improved on that. And then again, after we started monetizing, talked to paid customers. So at every stage of the journey of the product, we basically went back to customers, validated, and not just got with our own mindset. Many times customers can't tell you this is what they want, but if you go with a solution and then say, this is the solution, is this good, then they can give you good feedback. So not just ideating, but also talking through detailed screens, right? So validation at every stage, even after you have revenue, even after you have a lot of customers, is very critical. In terms of the problem area that you're looking to address, a large market is very essential. What is the potential of the market? Is the market big enough? Do you have customers who will pay you? Is there enough of a challenge in this space where you will be able to build a large company out of this, not just maybe say within India, but say worldwide? So you're looking at, so in our case, again, I'll give an example with what we did. So we looked at how many job seekers exist in India, how many in IT, how many in BFSI, how many in manufacturing, what is the potential of salary, how much recruitment fee does consultants charge, which recruitment portals exist. Together came up with the market sizing on what is that we can do if we displace, say, the way the hiring is done today. And the market size may not be very evident because there are players who are already doing this today, but it is about you having a better solution, which will then make the problem simpler, and all of the other players are going to start using your solution, and that is how you look at the market size. But clearly, if you're looking to solve a problem which is very simple and which is widespread and can take care of many users' needs, that is something that you'll have to go for, right? So you can be a retail store which is just in your neighborhood and still be profitable, or look to build like a countrywide retail chain which is much bigger and still do the same thing. So there is a difference in the way you approach. So the market size is pretty essential. How you define your target customers, who's the market, how big is that market is essential. And then when we start building the product, we have this tendency to go after everything that is in the space, right? So we've thought that the end solution has to be this. So you're going to take like 1 year to build this product and then go to market. That's just going to be a lot of waste of effort. So you will need to build something which usually people call as minimum viable product, or MVP, where you define these are the core product features that you're going to build, and with these features you go to market, get the validation, get feedback from customers, and make sure you're building the right things, because you may end up building something which is very different from what people need, or people do not like what you build. And if you put in that long an effort to go back to customers and show the product or validate, then you're just going to get, you're going to waste a lot of time and energy. So it is critical for you to define what is your minimum viable product. It is hard to do because you have to deprioritize a lot of things that you've thought of, which you need eventually in the product, but you will have to work on prioritizing what is important and only go with that. Go early to the market. You might have some disappointed customers also because you've not built the whole thing. Not everybody is going to get attracted per se, but the core proposition, if you can end up building, that is what's going to take you further. From a marketing perspective, clearly there are a lot of free ways in which you can market. So once we started our journey in April 2014, like the second day of us being full-time in it, we had a coverage in the Hindustan Times, and then a week later we were covered on Times of India. This is free. Basically, you get to an event, you meet a press reporter, like here there's a lot of press reporters out here. So if you end up meeting some of them, pushing your idea, telling them this is what you're doing, you're a startup, you want some coverage, they will give it to you because they're looking to cover startups. And if you can get covered, that is definitely going to help you get audience, both sides, employer side, job seeker side. In our case, we got it. So that kind of really helped because you don't have that kind of budgets and marketing. So you should look at free ways of getting covered. In addition, you should also be looking at social media that you have connects with. Request your friends to share, get you connects, get you more advertised. So that definitely helps. And then beyond that, once you have clear validation that customers are going to use this product, it is something that they'll pay for later, you would then want to advertise. And advertising can start out with digital mediums like Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, and you will have to experiment. Do not just blow out the money. Figure out how to measure which users come back to you. So when you advertise, see what is the outcome of that advertised money. Are you getting enough returns? Is there enough users that come back? Are you advertising correctly? Is the target audience there? So a lot of things that you'll need to look at before you spend a lot of money on advertising. And then beyond that is when you'll think of things like radio. So for radio, for instance, was something which wasn't so common with startups till about last year. And then we were the first ones who took off radio in a big way with My Notice Period earlier and now with Hiry. And now you see a lot of startups on radio. So we have to experiment on different channels which say nobody else is, and you can get an advantage of being the early bird there, maybe lower cost, and then benefit from that. So start off with free, get to paid, but measure, and then move into larger channels. And then we were surprised that we were on Times of India for a funding news on business page. We got a quarter page coverage on a story. A lot of users came through for that. And so we thought it's something that's really good, so we should advertise there. We took up a space, paid an X amount of money, and got on the same page on a print ad. That just did not work for us. So we basically realized that is not the way to go for us. If you go to normal marketing wisdom, people will tell you 50% of your spend should be print, other 50% should be X and Y, but they're just pushing you to what is easier to do and what is easier to execute. Not necessarily what works for you. So you will have to make sure you experiment in small ways, get the outcome, and then only increase the spend on marketing on those fronts. The next part, the funding part, so I think, so by this time I would have told you need to look at the product first, build that, have traction, have validation, have few customers, have some engagement driving it, have a few initial customers paying for it, or a clear roadmap that you will monetize in other ways, and only then look at funding. Because if you start looking at funding at an idea level, there are people who do get it, which is very rare, which is based on them being past entrepreneurs who've done well with their companies, have shown exits to investors. Those kind of people do end up getting it. But for first-time entrepreneur, which is the case with me and my co-founder as well, it is not possible for you to get funded at an idea stage. You'll have to build your product, take it to market, get some traction, build some kind of roadmap which is clearly going to get you to the monetizable path, and then look for funding. Those were things that I wanted to cover. My co-speakers are going to cover a lot more depth in various topics, so I'll hand it over to them. Thank you.
That's okay. Thank you. Good morning. Can you hear me? All right, good. So hope you're all enjoying here, learning, exploring. Excellent. Okay, I'm Malati Lata from HashingCloud. I am the Chief Delivery Officer there. It's a Bangalore-based company holding a US patent. We have been in business for about a year and a half now. There's a lot that we learned in the process. There are a few things that I would like to share with you today. So things to be done in the beginning of a startup was the topic that I would be covering. So I thought of talking about few F words today. Is that okay? Yeah, we are good with F words? Okay, perfectly decent one, guys. All right. So funding is something that Manjunath spoke about. So I won't get into too much detail. But instead of looking for funding from outside, I think what we have done, this moves? Yes. So what we have done is, we are a team of technical people, hardcore software. I myself am a software developer, entry level, been in software industry for about 19 plus years now. So we got together and we said, okay, what is our strength? Our strength is coding. So for our core idea or the product thought of business continuity solutions and cloud migration is the product that we wanted to build. But to fund that, what we said is we will apply our strengths to it. We had a portion of our team provide development services. We gave that to a client who needed the most. We got a couple of applications in between. So we developed those, we gave that. Revenues from that got funneled into the actual innovation project that we wanted to do. One of our founders is a nerd, engineering technology guy. Another is a talker, okay? And neither of them wanted any VC clutches on them. Go for VC funding, they'll say you have to do like this, you have to do like that, your percentage this, that. They're like, we don't want to do any of that. And hence we chose this route of funding our own business, all right? So be clear of where you will get your funding from to keep you in the business for the long run. It's not for the next 3 months, next 6 months, you're there. Your product is not going to click right at the outset. That's the reality, right? Okay. What's the second F word that you would like me to talk about? Frugality, of course. You're funding your own business. Every penny counts. You cannot be splurging that on stuff that you don't need to spend on. Do I have lavish offices right in the center of the city? No way. I stay in Vijayanagar. My sister-in-law stays like few streets away. So we have built 2 floors right on top of my sister-in-law's house, and we said we are converting this into office. Good. No AC required. You're in a cool, nice, good place in Bangalore, right? No unnecessary expenses. All our hires are from tier 2 cities. I don't have to spend too much on salaries, right? Yeah, you may not like it if you're working there, but you will like it for the challenging work that we provide to them, right? So every penny counts. Frugality, not a big deal, it's common sense, but to execute that and stay in business is important. All right, third F. You're bringing these people from higher to tier 2 cities, asking them to do work for you in the most challenging technology space, the cloud computing, the backup, at protocol level, bits and byte levels, they need to focus and work. You're bringing them away from their homes. What is the first thing on your mind when you're staying away from home? Huh? Homesick? Especially, what do you miss? Food, right? Yeah. Without food, my mind doesn't work. I need to have a good breakfast. So we set up a small kitchen in our premises itself. We bring in our cook auntie and say, whatever you do, you need to give that home flavor, okay? So we have that small setup where we provide breakfast and lunch for free for all our employees, me included. I look forward to the breakfast in the morning to kick off my day. So we do those small things. Can I give huge health benefits and this benefit and that benefit to keep my employees? No, as a startup, I can't afford to do that. What else can I do? I can treat them like my family. First, I provide them food. Second, I work with them day in, day out, right? We share our occasions of happiness, our occasions of grief. We are all there together. And that's the only way I can keep them with me for the long run. Second, of course, is a new challenging environment. There is a lot of things to learn for them right at the outset. They can decide their own titles. I've decided mine to be Chief Delivery Officer. Who cares, right? I need one, it motivates me, I take it. Similarly, for our test engineers, it's not like, okay, you have to call yourself test engineer only. Take your own titles, guys, but do what is required to do, right? Okay. All right. The next F word. Come on. No? All right. Okay. Focus is my next F word. There you go. You need to know what you are in that business for. I said one line of my business is development services, and I fund that to produce my actual, what's my actual focus? My product is in cloud migration and business continuity solutions. Does wedding application figure anywhere related to my end product? God, no, right? But did we get into it? We did. In some of our weak moments, we said, okay, to close a particular deal, to develop a wedding app and give it to one of the folks there, will make them happy and close the deal. That was a nightmarish decision. Focus, focus, and focus. We didn't have a devil's advocate in our team to call us out and say, hey, do you understand what you're doing here? Right? So from then on, we have a designated devil's advocate in our team who will look at every opportunity. For our beginners, every opportunity to close something is like, excellent, let's jump onto it and do it. But these opportunities are like wolf in sheep's clothing. You will get easily distracted in your weak moments. So we consciously have somebody to call out and say, really? You want to get into this? Do you know what you're in for? So that's my fourth F. Focus, it's easier said than done. It's not very easy to maintain that. Now, my last F word is familiarity. What do I mean by that? Do I know what I know? I should know it. Do I know what I don't know? Yeah, I should also know what I don't know. If I don't know something, shouldn't I be seeking out and building a team that will plug the gaps of my I don't know, right? So as I said, one of our founders is a nerd and other is a talker. But then what did I need to actually boost my sales? I needed somebody we target the small and medium businesses. I needed somebody who had good connectivity into the small and medium business. Neither of the founders had it. So to boost my sales, I had to go and get somebody, experienced sales personnel. We're a startup, we'll go with low experienced people and stuff like that. But to sell, you need experienced sales personnel who had very good connectivity into the small and medium businesses. We brought them on board, and within the next 4-5 months, in 4-5 months, we added 40 customers, 10 partners. We deliver in India, in Bangalore, Pune, Mumbai, in Singapore, in Europe. We're like, man, I didn't imagine when we started that we would do that so quickly. But that didn't happen just because we couple of founders or, right? You have to complement your team with some things that you don't have, right? Do you like these F words? Just a quick recap: funding, frugality, family, focus, and familiarity. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Malti. Hi, my name is Lakshmi Ananthamurthy. I am the CEO and founder of a company called SC Women. I should tell you, I am extremely excited to see so many smart women under the same roof, which is a very rare occurrence. I'm not a feminist, but I'm very happy to see all of you all over here. So as a background, you'll know why I say this, because I'm a civil engineer, so you can imagine how many boys and girls we had in class. There were 7 girls and a class of 60 boys, so the girls had more choice. After that, I was in software, and then I ended up doing my MBA in Chicago Booth, post which I was working in an oil and gas company, again, a lot of men, but this was British Petroleum in London. And, but I was focusing on supply chain, post which I came back to India and I was focusing on supply chain sustainability. And my most recent stint was with PwC in supply chain forensics. So I used to go down to the manufacturing locations and talk to all the blue-collar workers to find out what ghapla they're doing there. So you can see again how many women I'd find around there. But it's been an exciting journey, and post all of that, I decided I'm tired of doing, just reading business books and reading things which are just so serious. So maybe we need to have a place where women can read stuff which is fun, have fun while they read it, de-stress yourself slightly, but it still be intelligent and positive. That's what made me to start up siawoman.com. So when you all get a chance, do get a laugh when you see it. What I'm going to focus today is on practicing user focus for user growth. Malti and Manjunath have been speaking a lot about focus, and focus is one of the most important things for any business. But today I'm going to speak a bit more about how important is user focus. So there is a very famous saying, and all people who are in any way interacting with the Googlers will know this sentence: focus on the user and all else will follow. This is a sentence which my husband, who is an ex-Googler, literally pounded me with throughout our courtship period. So you wake me up in the middle of the night and I'll tell you this statement. But it sounds like it's so intuitive and common sense. So why would a $500 billion giant of a company, keep focusing on this and trying to imbibe it within their users, within their own employees? With data, it has been found that even today, the biggest reason that any company, and especially startups, have failed is because they have forgotten user focus. As startuppers or as entrepreneurs, we get so excited, oh, I have this great idea, and I'm going to start this, and I'm going to go out into the market, and we'll figure out the users when it comes to it. But Manjunath spoke quite a bit about how at the MVP phase, you have to focus on what is it that the user wants. You have to use data as well as interviews, talk to people, talk to your target segment, and try and understand what is it that they really want, and make sure that you make your product or make your final product focusing on what is it that they really like. If you think of your business like a train, and your destination being user growth, we all want to have users because they are the ones who are going to pay finally, and we all want to be rich, right? So if you think of your business as a train and user growth as the destination, user focus is the track on which you will reach your destination, which is user growth. If you forget that, your track runs out, then your business is going to derail. And you have to, at every point in time in your business, every time you have some new product, new idea added into your product, some new face coming in, you have a great new idea to add to your product, go out and ask your consumer or your target segment, is this something that you really care about? Are you going to use it? Will you pay for it? Will you talk to your friends about it? All the frills and fancies are nice, and your friends are the worst people to ask for feedback because they're always going to tell you things that you like to listen to. But go and ask your target consumer, and those should be people who you don't know. And analytics is one of the really best tools that Google has provided, which you can use extensively to understand what is your traffic like. If you have a website, if you're able to put in these Google Analytics, or there are tools which are available to layer over Google Analytics, analytics can tell you who is coming to your site, what is their gender, what is their age group, which part of the world are they coming in from, where do they come into your site, how do they enter, from where do they come, where do they go to. This is all very important because it can help you to change your business strategy. If you've been thinking that your landing page is one of the best things that ever happens, and SEO is, the best one, you might actually find out through Google Analytics that it's been your Facebook ads which have been helping you. So you need to keep a tab on analytics, and data should be the one which actually speaks for you. If you can, Manjunath spoke in detail about all the phases, but if I can just simplify it and put it, your business will typically, the life cycle of your business will have 4 main phases operationally, and then there'll be iterations. So you have the ideation phase, your brand marketing or your brand creation phase. The third phase would be actually your product development. The fourth would be marketing and fulfillment of it. And this will all, there are iterations. There are multiple iterations, and through the life of your business, this will keep happening. I'm not going to go too much into ideation because Manjunath and Malti have spoken quite a bit about it. But again, I would stress that user focus, even at this phase, is very, very important. So, no, I have not forgotten any word after mother. Mother is, in fact, we found a bad word in our business. So, when ours is a business which is focused on women, and we did a lot of, brainstorming, and we thought, what would be the two main things that women will, really define herself by? And we thought, yeah, woman and mother is, these are the two main important phases of a woman's life. And so we had a tagline for marketing, which was woman and mother. And as we went out, very happy with our new branding and our new logo, and we went and spoke to the women out there who were our target segment, we realized we were alienating a lot of women who either were not mothers because they didn't want to, they could not, or they're past that phase. They've had their kids, the kids have flown out of the nest. So we're actually alienating a lot of them. So we had to go back to the drawing board, and what is it about the women that we are really interested in? And we realized that we are talking about women who are intelligent, who like to read intelligent humor, like to de-stress, are very positive. So we actually had to rebrand ourselves from woman and mother to atypical woman. And atypical woman is a play on words, you have to think about it. But the fact is that we were thinking about women who just have to think out of the box. And so you have to you might be married to an idea, or you might identify yourself with something, but we had to break away from what we thought was a stereotype, which was woman and mother, and move on to atypical woman. Okay, I know you love this, but can we move? Yeah. The next one, which is product development, which is another very important phase. I'm going to talk to you here about an experience I had when I was setting up a business for British Petroleum in South Africa. I was working with the late Shri C.K. Prahalad, and we were setting up a business in the bottom of the pyramid. So British Petroleum had this part of the business, which was called bottom of the pyramid. And I was heading the business to set it up in South Africa. It had already been done in India. And through all the research that was found for India, they found that it has to be under cooking, heating, and lighting. These are the main areas which are important for the people in the bottom of the pyramid. And we were to find a solution over there. So they came up with a stove, which was LPG. And we thought, South Africa, bottom of the pyramid, initial research, more or less the same issues, right? They use a lot of kerosene, and they used dirty kerosene, which is basically more than 30% sulfur content. And a lot of people in South Africa, in that section of the society, were dying because of asphyxiation problems, because of sulfur in the fuel, and also because of ingesting kerosene, which was stored in empty bottles. So we thought, this is easy peasy, let's just get done with it, and it's going to be the same supply chain, it's going to be a similar product, manufacturer is easier, let's go ahead with it. However, as part of the process, it was mandatory that we should do something called as an immersion program, which we had to actually live in the consumer's house and find out what is important to them. Surprise, surprise, we found out that people there thought LPG was a bomb, and that was just because of them not knowing how to use or store their cylinders. So we had to actually change our initial business strategy and create a life cycle where we actually grew with the consumer, help them to understand how to use it, and how to start understanding the ills of kerosene. So our first product, interestingly, was kerosene, but kerosene packaged nicely to prevent ingestion, and it was clean kerosene which had lower sulfur content. And then we grew with them into the LPG market. It was actually a very successful product, but BP had their own ideas later on. I'm going to talk about the last thing, which is marketing and fulfillment. And this is, again, a last example, which goes back to the business that we are running in, which is marketing to women through men. And as I mentioned, most conferences have a lot more men than women. And that is a little frustrating for me, because my target is women. And we had the great opportunity to launch at NASSCOM Product Conclave, but again, it was 95% men. So we racked our brains on what is it that we should do, and incidentally, the only man in our team was the one who came up with the idea. So it was two women who were standing at a kiosk, And we, of course, put up our For Women board. We knew men wouldn't come for that. But we designed a really cute storybook, which had these nice cartoons, and we had cheeky questions, which would, I'm sure the men in the room will appreciate, attracted the men there, and we had some giveaway gifts. So the main idea, the main target in our mind was this man has to go back home and speak to the woman of his life, whoever that is, his mother, his sister, his wife, or partner, whoever, we don't want to define that. But he has to have enough recall, and knowing how good men have, the memories of men are, we had to give them something to take back. So what we did was, we made this small storybook which asked, what if your partner didn't believe that you were at this event? And then we got him to say, okay, yeah, he would tell her about SIA, which is about our company, and she would be very excited because then we gave them a pamphlet and also an eye mask, which had Atypical Women Meditate, so please don't disturb, and told him next time she fights with you, just give it to her, ask her to take it easy, and on a Sunday, definitely give this to her. And that's all. So she won't still believe you because we sound too good to be true. So we gave them this gift and asked them take it home and give it to her. And interestingly, Google Analytics again gave us these figures that over the next 2 days, our viewership of our site grew by 80%. And this was women between the ages of 25 and 45, which is our target segment. So what I'm trying to get home is that you might have a great opportunity, but always remember who your target segment is and how can you get across to them through the medium that is available to you. So yeah, I'm trying to keep it to the woman focus. We are all the user-focused women, and make sure that that's sort of the Superman or the Superwoman on your mind. Thanks very much. I hope you had a great time. And
thank you. Hi, guys. How are you? I shouldn't say guys, it's almost like hi, ladies, right? So, my name is Barbara. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Minch, and today I'd like to talk to you about how you're going to nail down your first few sales. All right? So, first of all, just to give you a bit of context, Minch is my startup. It's based in Switzerland and here in India, because I come from Switzerland, but I've been here in India for almost 5 years now, and I love it, by the way. So the company builds mobile applications for private communities. What does that mean? Well, let me ask you a question to answer this. Who is using WhatsApp in this room? Just a show of hands. Everybody, right? Well, basically what we do at Minch is that we can build your very own private WhatsApp for your community. So if you have an organization, a club, an association, and you would like to have your own private app, WhatsApp kind of app, with your own branding on the app stores, that's what we do. So, if you have to remember only one slide from my presentation, I would like it to be this one. It's 3 tips that I would like to give you. The first one is do things that don't scale to get your first sales. Don't think about optimizing, don't think about optimizing, scaling, anything. Just, even if it takes you a long time, put all your resources to get to nail down your very first sale. So don't think about scaling at first, at least. The second advice I would like to give you is be bold. Nothing ever happens to people who are shy. And it's better to be too bold and maybe give a heartfelt apology later on than to be shy and do nothing. So just go ahead and, be bold, okay? Thank you. And last advice, use all the channels you can. I'll go through 2 or 3 channels with you today to give you an idea of what I mean about that. The first channel is your network. You don't realize it, but actually you have so many resources around you to help you nail down your first sale. First is, of course, friends and family. And the others have spoken about that earlier. But Talk to your friends, talk to your family. If they are not interested in the product you're building, they definitely know someone who would be interested. And what a better introduction than through a friend or through a family member, right? The second one is social media. I won't even ask you the question. I know you all have a Facebook account, a LinkedIn account, a Twitter account, an Instagram account, and so on and so forth. So all these people, yeah, it's nice to look at their pictures and things like that, but actually you can leverage their network, reach out to them, pitch your product to them. And once again, if they are not interested in your product, then they definitely know someone who will be interested in your product. Another part of networking is, of course, building that network and making it grow all the time. And a good way to do that is to attend events where you could find your potential customers. Don't go to events for startups. That's not where your I mean, unless you're selling to startups. But that's not where your customers are. Go to the events where your clients, potential clients, will be attending, okay? And go and network like crazy and be bold. Let me just give you an example about how we got our first sales through these 3 points. The first one, if it wants to show up, yeah. SwissNext India is an organization. It's kind of an embassy of Switzerland here in India. They bridge between Switzerland and encourage collaborations between the two countries. So, you know, they're a bit like a family away from home because we're Swiss and we're in India and, you know. So basically the first organization we pitched to was our kind of family. And you know what? They loved it. And they purchased our very first product. So we sold our first product to our kind of family. Second example is through our network. I don't know if you know this guy. His name is Mukund Mohan, former director of Microsoft Ventures. He's quite famous in the startup environment because he's a serial entrepreneur, an angel investor. He does so many things, I can't keep track. Well, basically, we came to him and we pitched him our product. And you say, okay, I love your app. You know what? Give one to me for free, and then I'll see if we can do it for Microsoft Ventures. And we're like, oh man, what to do? I mean, free is like, But okay, we thought, let's do that for Mukund. Let's see what happens. So we worked hard. We built the app. We came to him. We show him the app. He tries it for 2 minutes, and he says, I love it. It's awesome. Okay, let's do it for Microsoft Ventures. And that's how we nailed down a second client, Microsoft Venture, a paying client, by the way. So that was really, really good because it's a big name and, you know, it can help a lot to get the next clients. A second channel we've been using a lot is cold emailing. I will just like to give you a few words on how you can go about it and what to do and what to avoid. There are 3 important parts in an email: the subject, of course, the body, and maybe you didn't know about it, the PS. When you write a long email, most people will read it, you know, like this, and they will not go through it. But the PS, damn, everybody reads the PS. Did you know that? So, I mean, if you have an important point to make, don't put it in your email. Put it in the PS. So I'll go straight to the example because I hope it's readable. These are emails I wrote, actually, so please don't take pictures. So this email was I was trying to reach to other accelerators in the US, since we had Microsoft Ventures. That was our target. So the subject of the email is engaging the Startup Rocket community. Basically, when you write a cold email, the subject has to be super appealing, super interesting for your client. You have to put yourself into your client's shoes and see what will appeal to him or her. Basically, we are targeting community managers. And all the community managers have the same pain. It's engaging their community. So a title like this is definitely appealing to them. Then the content. The body should not be more than 10 sentences. And even this one is a bit too long, in my opinion. But I wanted to show it to you also, because when you write a cold email, you need to have one single goal. And it's not sell my product. You will never sell your product with one single email. I'm sorry to tell you that. Or you're very, very good and you need to talk to me. because I want to learn from you. But your first goal with a cold email is to get a Exactly, a response. You want the guy to reply to you, actually to take the time to reply to you. So, if you read this email, actually, I am not talking about my product at all. All I'm doing is just saying, hey, I saw what you're doing, I think your community is cool, I'm also working with communities. I'd like to know how you do it. How do you engage your community? How do you work with these people? What tools are you using? And that's exactly what I do. So I'm asking him, I'm ending with a question. That's also very important. If you want a reply, you need to ask a question. If you don't ask any question, the guy is like, yeah, I mean, thank you for the email, you know? So another email, which is to show you the point of being short. This is a super short email. Once again, the subject is just, you know, I'm going to talk to you about your community. Okay. And the content is also it's like 2 sentences. So I'm not sure if that would be of interest to you, but since we've been working with this and that client, link, and they are very happy and they're engaging their community with this, I just thought maybe it would be of interest to you. And that's it. And then, question. How do you stay in touch with your startups during the acceleration and after they graduate? And bam, you get a reply. This is a counterexample, what you should not do. Don't try to put pictures. This is a mail I received. It got straight to my spam because it's only 1 picture. And even if I open it, I don't see the picture. I have to click on the thing on Gmail to say, display the picture. Don't send emails like promotions emails. Don't put pictures. Don't put text in pictures. The base of the email is to write something, right? So just write a simple text email. It has to look as genuine and authentic as possible. And this is not it. Now about cold calls. I'm not sure I have the time to go through this or not. What is the timing? It's okay? Okay, 2 more minutes. I am not a specialist of cold calls, to be honest with you, but I attended a conference last month in the US, which was specifically about that topic, and I thought I'd share it with you because that can be interesting for you as well. So these are 6 points through which you can go when you do a cold call. First of all, prepare the email with the demo or the slide deck that you want to show to that person. Prepare your email and just get ready to send it. Then you call the guy or the lady. And you say, hey, hi, my name is Barbara from Minch. I'm working with communities, and I was just about to send you an email, but I'm not really sure if I have the right email for you. So I just thought I'll give you a quick call. So can I please verify your email? Is it right that it's john.doe@mail.com? Then the guy replies, okay, yes, that's it. Okay, so you click on send then. Okay, I've just sent it to you. Could you please just check that you got it in your inbox and that it didn't end up in the spam or something? Yeah, it's okay, it's in my inbox, I can see it now. Oh, that's wonderful, thank you so much for checking. And one more thing, I'm really sorry, but I have a link in that email, and I just want to make sure that you're able to open it and that it's working right. Okay, sure, open the email, click on the link, and then you get the guy looking at your demo, right, in 2 minutes. And then, I mean, if the guy is patient enough, you can try to say, hey, if you have 2 minutes, I can just walk you through my 5 slides. Or if you don't, maybe I can call you back and see if that's of interest to you. But basically, this is a good way to break the ice with cold calls, because it's quite difficult to approach people like this. And that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. I think now we have time for questions to all the speakers. So you want to join me?
Hello. Yes. I have a question for Malti. Malti, you said in your slides, it's not working. So in your slides, you mentioned something about hiring a sales guy to pitch up the sales and everything. But if we follow the principles of frugality, I mean, sales guy don't come so easy. And
No.
so how did you manage that?
He saved.
No, but did you save to give it everything to the sales guy? and
Not everything. How do I survive and build my
How
product?
do you actually focus on hiring the right sales team in the following the frugality principle?
See, frugality doesn't mean you don't spend at all. Frugality is identify what are the components of your entire expenditure list where you need to spend. I had to save for about 6 months to set aside saying, okay, this is for that experience sales. Because in the first 2 months we knew that we are not penetrating into the small medium business network, right? So we had to bring that guy on board. So I saved on my travel cost. I did my calls on WebEx. If I have to go meet customer, then I would say, hey, why don't you come visit our office? Customer would come down there, right? You're around here. I go to conference. I go to here or there to show my product. And I have to say, without paying, the experienced salesperson won't come into your company. Why would?
Agree with you.
No.
One other thing that we did, so it was 2 of us that started. We had a small outsourced team of engineers working with us, building something. And then we had to sell, so we went in the same path, went and started selling ourselves. But then we realized one of the easier ways for you to get started on the sales function is getting interns, right? So we got went to college, got a couple of guys. We didn't know if it's even sellable, the product is sellable, whether you can even make money off it. But interns is an easy way for you to start off. So you get, say, B-school interns who are okay to look at sales as a function, and they would be excited, they would do a good job. We got few sales through them, we got few sales through our own channel. And then once we realized there is money on the table, got some experienced sales guy who was actually an entrepreneur. His journey wasn't going very well, but he joined us. So that wasn't necessarily a significant cost. So I think that those are kind of things that you can look at. You can look at people who are excited about entrepreneurship and want to start off, not necessarily for money. And then the other segment is clearly interns. Many interns you don't even have to pay for. If you can afford to pay, great. If you can't afford to pay, you can still have them because they, as part of their curriculum, need to do work in a company and they're willing to do it in a big way, right? So we decided to hire 2 interns, and after we saw the outcome, we thought, man, it's a bad idea. We just should have hired a lot more, right? There were like at least 10 of them in the college that were available, and we just saw they were doing a great job. So I think maybe a mistake on our part to not take in the free resource and start it off. But clearly, if you want to build a free sales team, go for interns, get some good college grads. They have a lot of energy, they'll do what you want, push your customers, feature, you'll have to teach them things to do, but they will do it for you.
If I can just add to them, when there is some function which is very important in your business and which is responsible to make your business successful, you do get a lot of experienced people like entrepreneurs who are willing to come on board for ESOPs as well. So you could have a lower salary, but the ESOP structure is slightly different when you're in a startup. You have to look at the vesting period, but you can get a good CA and they can help you out in it, but that's another good option.
Getting software out of the door, like design, development, deployment, the main thing that stops you from doing, like implementing your idea. So some of the challenges that you had in this.
So I think I'm going to take the question, assuming it's more to do with software product development. So the good part was me and my co-founder, we both been in that industry developing product for a very long time with Yahoo, with IO Technologies. So I had a good sense of that. When it comes to your own product, you obviously don't have additional hands to help you. So we took an outsourced team which was kind of helping us build. We were depending on them to design, them to deliver to our spec, but that didn't happen. So we just had to go with them, sit with them, work with them to define everything that needs to get done, design everything the way we wanted, and ship a product which is way smaller than what we thought we should ship out, right? So I think clearly identifying what is the key deliverables that you want. Don't wait for everything to build. Initially when we built a lot of the product things that we thought of then, we're still building after like spending about a year and a half there, right? So I think as entrepreneurs we get very ambitious on what we want in our product. We have a long vision. A lot of that cannot get done in that kind of time frame. And when we started, we had like zero customers in a free period where we had like 5,000 job seekers, 100 recruiters, and then now we've got like 1,500 paid employers, including Google that is hiring from us. Google apparently worldwide does not use any platform to hire from other than LinkedIn. No Naukri, no Monster, no Time Job, none of these. And they've signed up with us because they like the way the whole product is built, the ranking of job seekers is done. So clearly something that we thought of we should go live in our first release, we took a long time to build and go live. So we don't have to wait for everything to get built. Ship decent quality product, but get feedback, keep improving. If you start thinking of building everything at once, it's going to take a long time and you're just not going to get out of the door. So you'll have to compromise, prioritize, go on the critical pieces and then keep building.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Manju. Even if, I mean, you have to identify what is solving your customer's pain. And usually you want to build a lot of things around it, but you have a core thing that you need to get done in order to, nail your first sale. And even once you have your core product, you can approach potential clients and already maybe even not sell it for the price you intend to sell it to in a year or once the product is finished. But you can get a first user or first customer that will give you honest feedback, what's working, what's not working, and build this relationship to really improve the product with them. Because you on your own, I mean, that's my personal experience, you always assume, yeah, they want this, they want that, they don't want this, they like this, they don't like that. Actually, half of the time we're wrong. So it's really important to have somebody to give you the feedback as you go, I would say, yeah.
And to address the point of getting it out the door, it's not easy. There will be, especially with software, there will be tons of surprises that will be thrown into in spite of having tons of documentation which will claim that this API will do this, this API will do that. We had a number of instances, and we deal with it at bits and bytes level, right? Number of instances where we had to reach back to Microsoft and say, hey, this API that you said, sorry folks, Microsoft does a good job of actually solving our problems. So good. Right? To say that, hey, this thing is not worth. And we were like, we had our timeline and the customer demo setup saying, this is like aise ho jayega, right? It doesn't happen like that. So be ready for surprises. Ambiguity is part of the game, right? Keeping your cool and saying, okay, what can I do, rather than saying, damn, this doesn't work. That doesn't get you anywhere. So keep cool. Problems will come every step of the way.
And if you are, we outsourced our software development part of it. But you have to have clarity whether you are a B2C or a B2B, because what you need from your software is different when it's a B2B or B2C. B2B is a little bit more forgiving, B2C is not. So when you're talking about B2C, it's a lot more about user interface and what exactly is the user experience. So you might end up putting in a bit more money in that part of it, and the design aspect of it, whereas when it's B2B, it's a bit more of the functionality part of it. So if you're outsourcing as well, make sure you identify a company that has some experience in B2C before you actually give it up. Sorry, B2B is business to business, B2C is business to customer directly. So your Flipkarts and all will be B2C mostly, and B2B is like how you have when you're directly selling to a company, it's a software product or a workflow kind of a product which a company is going to be using as one of their function requirements. Sorry, ma'am.
Hi, this is Vandana. You all spoke very well about your journeys. One of the things I want to understand is about the team. Because for any startup to really grow, we really need a strong team. And being startups, it's very difficult to get that team. We can't pay so much, but we need really passionate people. But at some point of time, that kind of goes out. How would you maintain that, that nucleus? What, if you have any experiences, learning lessons that you could share?
Sure, so I think we grew from 2 people that we were in June last year to 110 people that we are now, adding both a large team that we built and a lot of customers, about 1,500 paying customers and 5 lakh job seekers. So there's a lot of change, a lot of new things that we do. But specifically for team, you do find people who are very excited about the work and what they want to achieve. and not just money, right? So the good part is from our, at least within our tech team, we had a lot of guys who were our ex-colleagues at Yahoo who worked with us in the past. They knew what needs to get done as tech. They worked. I mean, there was this personal rapport, fortunately for us, and those guys joined us. And with the kind of money that larger startups and larger companies are willing to pay, each of these Yahoo guys could get like 3 times their pay that they're getting with us. But they're sticking on to what they're doing. So because what you get to do at a startup is very different from what you would get to do in a large company, which is a small bit of what you do, versus here you're doing end-to-end, managing the whole infrastructure or managing the entire end-to-end software development. And say when we we would first launch the web product, and then we had to do Android. The same guys learned Android and did it. Versus in a Yahoo kind of place, you would probably not get to do next iOS or whatever, right? So you would have a defined territory. You would only be able to do certain things. So that is the motivation that really people have to be able to join a team which is going to give them freedom to think, freedom to innovate, freedom to do a lot more things beyond what large companies can do. And so we ran a survey on what motivates people to join startup, shared it with all the startups that are hiring from us. About 300 startups are hiring from us. And the big outcomes was the big motivation for people to join startups is working across different technologies to different functions. And the second one is to do with, I mean, fortunately, ESOP and salary came like really the bottommost, but the top drivers were really to do with the work and the kind of innovation that they get to do. So clearly something that people are looking for is the excitement in work, the challenge that you can throw at them, and not necessarily money alone. Definitely beyond a point, once you get funded, you would look to have employees paid enough so that they don't have to worry about their survival. But being able to build a team which is very passionate on executing or thinking through what they want to do and execute is very much more important than looking at guys who are purely looking from a salary side.
Which is very true. Like, we have been running this for about 1.5 years and I have 40 people on board now, right? But if we get to 40 right from day one, no. The way we started, it's an organic growth. The founder himself would sit day and night and code. And then he looked around and said, is there anybody who can help me with this module? That's how it starts, right? So he brought in one other person on board who shared that passion. It definitely starts with passion. That's the begin, that's the end of it when it comes to startup. Getting excited about being in technology and learning new things, doing new things is the first and foremost driver. Beyond that, all the other hires that we got were all through referrals. I did not have much success when I went to recruiting companies. I may try to.
You should try it.
Right? But it was internal reference. They loved the job. They were very excited about what they were doing. And then they went and said, I have this friend of mine. Sir, can he come here? I'm like, bring them on. Right? So it's organic growth, as much as I can say. Because you need to have that shared passion to get through the hardest job of startup.
And in a team, you have two main types of people: the founders, co-founders, and the rest of the team. So I would definitely suggest that if you are a lone person currently or the only founder, definitely get a co-founder on board, someone who shares the passion, because when you go to get investments as well, investors are looking for a team of people who can execute an idea, and that matters because if you are incapacitated for any reason, there is a co-founder or somebody else that's coming in. And beware that if you are two people who have already started a company and you are bringing in a third person as a co-founder, there are a lot of dynamics, and how she very well touched upon, it's a family. So you and your earlier co-founder will have you'll have a journey which you've come through already, and you've gone through a lot of thought process, so you've come to a decision. And you bring in a third person, and that person has not been through with you. So they come up with an idea and you just shoot it out saying, no, that doesn't work. And that actually puts them off. So there's a lot of soft skills that you're actually practicing as well as founders and co-founders. So yeah, and that goes same for the team. If you have some important people on your team, make sure they are with you through your growth journey and explain to them and help them grow with you or you grow with them as well.
I would like to add on that as well. When you hire your first people, the first people you will hire, it's your core team, so it's super important. And Also, you don't have so many employees, so you can take good care of them. Like Malati said, right? It's your family. So get to learn about them and because everybody's different. So in general, maybe you can draw conclusions like people are more interested in learning new things or in the salary or in something else. But it's important to have individual talks with them and understand what they really want to achieve with that job, what is their goal, what are their personal goals, basically, and help them achieve that. Maybe someone for him is super important to be able to go to his to go for a run every morning, and he cannot come to work until a bit later. Then okay, that's important for you. We'll do that for you. You know, or maybe somebody else needs something else. She has to go pick up her kids at school. Oh, I just made a very bad. You realize what I just said? This is awful. Oh my god. I just talk about the guy wanting to go run and the lady wanting to go pick up her kids. That's terrible. I'm so sorry and I feel really bad. So, by the way, my husband is watching my kid right now. So, all right. But just to close it, learn to know well your employees and what they are after and what is important for them, and try to help them with these goals.
So many times during the ideation, we'll be bouncing upon some idea and then we'll feel very excited about it. And then after a couple of iterations, we'll feel, okay, this idea already exists. So maybe somebody is doing better. So we'll keep on going like from one idea to another idea, and then we'll be just revolving around the ideas. We won't be really starting about anything. So how do we actually stop this and continue going just like being ventured out?
If I can say so, I completely identify with what you're saying. We started our business in October last year. We went from being an online platform for giving gynecological video information to psychology, to being an Ayurveda and a homeopathy platform, to going to what we're doing right now. And then we thought, oh my, we have to make money as well, so what do? We also add an e-commerce platform. That's what happens, and it is a well-known fact that at any point in time when you're thinking of an idea, there are at least 5 other people who are thinking of the same idea. The important part is the way you execute it. Execution matters more than the idea itself. So the second thing is goes back to user focus. Go and ask your target user what matters to them. So for example, the idea could be the same, but your target user could be different. I'll use an example. In our case, PopXO is a very similar site to what we do. But they are focused on women who are between 18 to 25, and we are focused on women who are 25 onwards. So the idea might sound the same, but what we actually have and the way we execute will be different. So you have to know what your user wants, and get down to doing it. And the MVP, just go get down doing it, get the name out in the market, get your word out in the market.
And just make sure that even if it exists, there's no idea on earth that doesn't exist, and you'll get bright new idea nowhere, no one has ever got. Can you do something which is much better, right, and appealing to your target audience? If you can do it, then you'll make it. But first you need to get down there and do it.
Yeah, it's not about the idea, it's about the execution. I mean, 20 people are having exactly the same idea as you right now somewhere in the world. It's just about how you execute it that will make the difference.
I just need one last question I have to ask. I'm so sorry, just one. So people, I just want to ask you one thing. What according to you is the difference of being in a corporate job versus being an entrepreneur? So I know all of you are independent entrepreneurs. I just want to understand, will there be a day back when you all even think that let's go back to the corporate life, or still stay and go on, and what is the difference?
Every day. No, but seriously, when you have a day job, you have good days, you have bad days, but it's like this, okay? When you're in a startup, it's like this, okay? All the time, and sometimes several times a day. So, I mean, there is always time when you're like, oh, I just want a day job and have a good salary, you know, forget about it. And then you sleep on it, and the next day you're like, no way, I mean, I'm too passionate about what I'm doing, and I would be so bored in my day job, forget it, I need to continue. And it's all about the passion. But yeah, definitely, you have ups and downs, and very high ups and very low downs. That can't be avoided, right?
Very true, very true. 19 years in corporate, ask me. I've been in startup for the past 1.5 years. There hasn't been a day when I did not think how good those days were when I was in corporate, right? But then it's not about whether the thought enters your mind. It does. What is the answer that you give yourself when that thought enters your mind matters. What are you in here for? Then, so when sleeping, you'll think, I should have gone back to the corporate, right? Early morning, you'll get up and say, now I'm ready to go, right? I need to spend this day. So, yeah, it's just the answer that matters.
Just one last thing. It's always the 30th of the month, and every time you need to take a printout for yourself or book your own ticket, that you say, shucks, I should just go back. But I don't think anybody is a born entrepreneur or a born corporate person. I think there are phases in your life when each part of it offers you different things which help you. So I definitely think I enjoyed my corporate life. Would I go back to it? Maybe after 5-6 years, after soul scare and being a millionaire. But it's just which phase of your life it suits you, and that's what you want to do.